Well, I'm excited about this video for a number of reasons. I've been talking back and forth with fellow vocal coach Sterling Jackson for a while now. Jonny Hawkins from Nothing More and I have been doing some talking as well, and we are going to celebrate that by reviewing, analyzing this new song that Jonny's a part of.
There are 5 levels of power. Most men will never rise past the first. I am the shit. You throw a fit, I throw a brick.
Well, there's some interesting vocal things that we could talk about even right now. I think it's this. Just a good compressed chest voice with some stuff on it, you know. And those are always good to analyze because they're not singing yet, but we hear that kind of thing in Jonny's voice when he sings. And so to understand the speech level of it and then put it into something sung later, it's super valuable.
So one of the things about Jonny, when you start getting into his vocal technique and stuff, is that he was trained to kind of open up super wide, which kind of helps him find his sound. And he's also placed pretty forward a lot of times, so,
sure,
which tends to be rather unhealthy, but he's made it work for him because he's got a little bit of a higher voice than maybe somebody like me and you. But even right there, you can hear that like iconic, this very bright and wide open kind of distorted sound. It's very in your face.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is he's entering that distortion with a sigh, right? It's a laugh, but you hear him do this when he sings and he's not laughing. Ha, ha, ha. There's a built-in sort of mini yodel into that. Ha! That's what's happening, right?
He's able to really push and get some volume, and if you're backstage with him while he's warming up, you're like, oh, okay. Oh, wow, that's how you warm up. That's fucking loud. Jesus, wow.
I throw a brick from a window, then kick down the door. Your daddy had to leave you because your mother.
So Nathan, this sort of, he's down here, lots of audio compression on his voice. That's a very, Corey Taylor thing to do, right?
If you've ever tried to sing some of that Slipknot stuff where he's really down here,
yeah,
I waited till my veins collapsed. And you try to do that live, and you're like, I can't hear anything.
Right?
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, obviously it makes me laugh because of I don't know what the music style is, and I don't follow a lot of musical trends. So hearing like, you are a bitch, I am the shit, something like that, is kind of pulls me out of it because I'm like,
interesting way to open a song.
Yeah. What is happening right now?
Right.
But,
That little gun in your hand, it gonna make you a man. Yeah, but I broke the ring, and he walking
cool,
but it'll make him a king. That little gun in your hand, it gonna make you a man. The cage, now I'm off the leash. If you play with the devil, then you make the bitch. If you didn't want to smoke, don't fuck with the fire. If you didn't want to smoke, don't fuck with the fire.
That's Nathan.
If you play with the devil, then you make the bitch. If you didn't want to smoke, don't fuck with the fire. If you didn't want to smoke, don't fuck with the fire.
Fire! 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 Yeah! It's that broken chest voice.
It's just low and deep. If you didn't want fire, like it's woo. That is deep.
A lot of breath pressure there. It works for him though. It works. Oh, I love that lift. One thing I love about Jonny is he really digs in. Like you said, he's loud, but then he knows how to release and lift. My golden. I mean, he's loud and aggressive, and there's a little bit of breakup, just that compression chest voice, golden idol, and then just lifts right out of it.
Yeah, and there's an interesting musicality with his voice in terms of his delivery of the lyrics, because again, he's got this kind of upfront placement where he enunciates quite a bit, and you can really kind of hear the words. So then, as he's kind of expressing whatever he's expressing, you get this extra layer of, I don't know how to say it, just these words coming through. Whereas if I was to sing it, I'm more concerned and I'm more in line with my placement and my tone, and the words kind of come secondary.
Yeah. No, he's abandoned. He's abandoned into whatever character or whatever emotions he's feeling, and he's not thinking about technique, at least when he's in the moment of performing. Although he has good technique.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a really long time, and and I've seen them on tour and been backstage, and can definitely attest to the fact that he's not blowing his voice out and stuff. Yeah,
sure. I got to go back because right when we started this section, there was a sung version of the laugh that we heard at the beginning. The thought of you, no, the thought of you, right? There's this head voice, like he's going, but there's that head voice tweak into the compressed high chest voice.
Yeah, one of the main things I tell my students all the time is that I want you to get in a habit of connecting to your diaphragm by the first thing out of your mouth that I want to hear is your stomach. I don't want to hear your neck. I don't want to hear your throat.
Yeah.
I want to hear your stomach come through first. So sometimes in terms of training, that laugh kind of comes across where I want to hear, I want to hear that start your note and then continue to flow through.
That's a cool way to say it. I like that.
Yeah, you can hear it in people's body. You can hear if their stomach is singing versus obviously their neck. And yeah, I mean, getting that connection is important.
This is really fun to be going through super nerdy things with a fellow vocal coach. This is something that I lead my students through all the time. If you'd like to work with me in pulling things from your inspirations and doing things with your voice you never thought you could really do by getting kind of nerdy and playful at the same time, click the link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my free course. I'll help you do things with your voice you never thought you could do. There's another bitter sour. That's showing his dynamic placement. You said he generally sings forward, but I love that he's rocking that bitter sour. It's not just bitter sour the whole time, right? He's got the crow. This is sick, man. I like this. Oh, good false chord grunt there. That interplay is awesome. Okay, we got to go back and listen to them kind of ping pong back and forth a little there.
So a lot of times I'll talk about distortion above and then distortion below.
Sure.
So you're kind of either favoring keeping your pressure up here or you're favoring having here. Even when we talk about mixed voice, throughout my years of studying that, I've definitely recognized that I was either favoring this resonator or this resonator. So
cool.
when I leave my bridge, and I usually refer to my bridge as my hard and soft palate, when I leave that space, I'm pretty much favoring this. So when I'm up here, I'm going to have to stay up there. And then I'm just really exclusively in what some might refer to as a reinforced head voice, but I don't like that term because that means that people that don't understand it are going to try to take legit head voice and just push it really hard,
Right.
which is not what's happening, obviously.
Right. No, more of a mix, and then you're adding distortion over the mix. And would you consider that a Fry distortion or a compression-based distortion up there?
So there's compression, and then what you hear with him too is that his chords are also coming apart,
Yes.
so he's turning into a full scream. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Fry, quote unquote, and then there's also compression with that, and that's partly what gives it the power.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, since we're such big fans of Cornell, when you have that really taut, nice, compressed sound that you can distort. So say I
Right.
took something like this note right here. I don't know, I'm just picking a note. This is an A4. Say I can distort that and have it nice and connected.
At the same time.
Sustain it.
Right.
Yeah. Then being able to split that apart into a scream and decide to pull my chords apart.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's kind of what I think you hear there, except his, he's even higher, even brighter.
Oh yeah, he's a master at it. He's a master.
Yeah. And it just cuts. Like hearing the screams back and forth is great, but how much you can get that cut above everything. It's kind of like Ozzy Osbourne's voice.
Right.
It always sits above all the music.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love the power. I love that. The power. He's using. Well, what am I singing? What is that?
It's a C sharp 5 and a B flat 4.
Okay, yeah.
But he's got that crow you're talking about in the back.
He's got that going on for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, he's all chest there. I mean, he's able to get up there without doing that mixy thin thing.
The second time I got to hang out with him backstage, or maybe the third, I don't remember. I got to hear him warming up, and then I didn't really know him too well, so I was already intimidated anyway. And he's warming up, so I got a little piano on my phone, and I was like, "Can we do something really quick?" And I was like, "I want to see where your actual bridge is."
Yeah.
And we got up to a C5, and I'm like, "Dude, fuck you! Like, what the? That's so crazy that you're." Anyway, and I can tell if he's compressing. I can tell what he's doing to kind of get there. And of course, he's probably pretty warmed up or whatever. But he got up to about a C5 before his bridge.
I felt the same way when I was working with Spencer Sotelo. He bridges so high. He can pull his actual chest up so well and so high. It's seeming like he never really has to do it, although he's doing it somewhere. It's crazy. It's crazy, these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing when the metal guy does it, but it's another thing when you got the monks or whatever. That's crazy.
Yeah. It sounded beautiful, but then when I actually heard what they were saying, I was like, oh. That's the only thing, if I'm being completely honest. Like, a lot of it's really, really well done, but then that's the part that kind of throws me and kind of loses me.
But it's almost like they're calling that out by putting this in. Like, they knew that,
Like
and so
how ridiculous it is.
yeah.
You fold when the going gets tough, but I never fucking quit. Raw power.
Those are beautiful screams. Okay, let's go analyze Raw Power, shall we? Okay, so I hear a lot of. I want to hear what you have to say about this before I start flapping about it.
It's kind of the same stuff I was saying before, but yeah, what I like about this before getting into again like the how it's done or whatever is just whether he can feel these lyrics or whether he can just act and express them and make you feel them. I don't really know, but it sounds like his commitment to the lyrics and to the delivery are they're just 100%.
Yeah,
So
and
when he's going raw power, it's just like you're like, oh Jesus, like it's freaking great.
Yeah.
I just hear a little bit more vocal fry, and I hear the voice set up the same way, so I hear kind of that same thing. But again, going back to the crow idea, I hear about how far he's pushed back that crow, that kind of back up in that pocket that I talk about a lot. You know, like that up in the soft palate, you're needle pointing that sound into the back of your like soft palate as much as you can. It feels like somebody going like that.
yeah,
And
right. It's like you're pulling the scream up there. The resonance is happening at that soft palate, and it's a smaller resonance, a smaller feeling and sounding placement, which simultaneously lets it be light but also incredibly aggressive. And then there's other things that are going on here on the entrances and the exits, which I really think is cool. Listen to raw. So if we're gonna get into it again with head voice, so that we establish the lightness. Let our vocal cords pull apart a little bit, like you're talking about, and then start pulling chest and adding compression. You know, then we are able to roar into it from a place of lightness, soft palate, head voice, and then it sounds heavy, but it's not. It's actually light, and you can see that expression on my face.
yeah.
Now the implied pitch power, that's where he's just power, power. When I think that pitch, it's really hard for me to get up there because I have a different chest range than he does, and he's wow, that's awesome.
One of the coolest things when we were talking about his voice and everything too was that he said about performing for the audience and performing for them, but he said about when you're in the studio, you're performing for the microphone. And I had never ever thought that, because most of the
That's
albums
cool.
that I've done are me sitting here like this recording.
Yeah.
But when you look at him right here and you hear his commitment through that, and then you know he's actually in the studio moving around doing this shit.
Right, you're performing in the microphone. I love that.
Yeah, you're not just standing there, trying to do it like this. No, that's your audience. You're performing for the microphone. So that has really kind of changed my way of thinking about this a little bit.
Yeah. Man, he writes good hooks. Good hooks.
Yeah. Well, so now I just finally noticed, I think that Nathan's actually singing the octave lower in the choruses.
Yeah, cool. We'll hear that again. Took your power. I like that layer underneath Johnny. That's neat. That was an interesting line. He moved that everywhere.
Yeah.
Because he was so forward and bellish for a minute there, and then he threw it back, crowed a little bit. We got to hear that again. Oh, he's giving things away.
Yeah, it's freaking. Where was he there? He was.
Well, so yeah. What are those notes?
I think if I'm hearing it right, it was just a whole step. So that's Jesus, a G4.
Yeah. But so and then listen to the placement transition.
Bigger. Yeah.
Throw your purple, throw your bow. I mean, he's so like belty front full, and then he throws it back right before he enters that scream. So it's like this throw, right? He gatewayed into his scream, and so we heard exactly what you were talking about. We heard him throw it back to the soft palate.
Let me hear it again, because it sounded like he went higher, but it's just probably that dichotomy between the power and then
I think it's just the two notes. Yeah, power. I think it's those two. Yeah, throw your power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty close, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's finish this out, shall we?
Ugh. Makes me want to take a shower. So stupid. I feel bad for the old guy because they kind of beat the shit out of him and tied him up there at the end. But what hell of a production on that music video. Good Lord.
What a music video. Good song, good catchy. There's like some good pop sense in there. I'll have to go check out more of Nathan's stuff just to get some more context. Well, thanks for going through this with me, man. It's fun to nerd out with someone else and really just do more than speculate since you spent so much time with Jonny.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure and always fun to break this stuff down and hear other people's perspectives on it,